I'm Ray Black, and I live in Bethel Park. Been a resident for 42 years, and I'm with the Historical Society of Bethel Park. Also belong to the South Arts Group. And we're here today to have an open house to show the public who we are. We have an old building that's been around since about 1909, and it's been through its phases, and it's kind of rather deteriorated, but it's still functioning as a usable edifice for our area here. And it's little known that we have a Center for the Arts here at the Historic Schoolhouse. It's known as the Park Avenue Historic Schoolhouse in Bethel Park. We have 6 organizations represented in the building. There are 3 groups and 3 studios that artists rent and use for their purposes. We have the gift shop, which is the Heritage Box. We have South Arts, which is a fine arts gallery. And then we have the Heritage Players, who do musicals and shows throughout the year. They use it as a base of operation here. And the Historical Society themselves. So we're trying to demonstrate to the neighborhood that we have a purpose. Instead of just an old building sitting here, this building has a purpose. It serves a function as an arts center for Bethel Park. And we would like to have people recognize that and come to the center, see what's going on, and help the artists out that are here by purchasing their goods. There's a lot of small gift items, things of that nature that can be bought for Christmas or birthdays or whatever. So we welcome you all, and come see us. Pat Kraft of the Bethel Park Historical Society, and Pat is the treasurer and on the board of directors of the Historical Society. And we're here to talk to her a little bit about what the Historical Society is about and some of its history. So Pat, maybe you can fill us in on that.
Okay. The Historical Society has been here since 1990. We were given the building by the school district for $1 to maintain it. So this is our job, to take care of the building, basically. Today we've set up some historical displays. We have some Coverdale pictures and information here, which is a large part of the community. That's Coverdale. We have some genealogies back here from the early settlers. Yeah, the early settlers in the community and their families. We have the 100th celebration of Bethel Park back here, and some pictures from that. And we have Ellen from the Oliver Miller Homestead to explain some of the things they do over there. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
And we also have some pictures of the old schoolhouse and the first classes. We have an old baseball uniform from 1947 that was given to us, and a picture of the team from that time.
Well, that's great. I didn't realize myself that you had this much memorabilia.
Yes, well, a lot of it comes from Bethel Church, but well,
okay.
But that was the beginning of the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you have does our society have a connection with the Miller
the Oliver
estate,
Miller
Oliver
Homestead?
Miller?
Right. Well, that's where the community started, because the early settlers formed over there. They met for a church service over there. And John McMillan was a traveling pastor, missionary in the...
Yes, I've read that. Yes.
Right, and he came and preached the first service to the group at the Oliver Miller Homestead, which was the start of the Bethel Presbyterian Church. And of course the community was named after the Bethel Presbyterian Church. And the Bethel Road, Church Road, is named for the Bethel Presbyterian Church. So everything grew out of that little community in South Park.
So we have a historical connection with just most every group.
Everything in the community,
Park, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's great. I didn't know. I lived in this community for 42 years, and I'm suddenly getting a little more
Getting
active.
to know what the community is all about. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, we just
Tell us a
completed a
little-
125-year anniversary, which will culminate on Monday night up at the community center. They'll have the dedication of the time capsule there and the tree lighting ceremony on Monday night at the community center.
Yes, they recently had a dinner and dance up there too. didn't
Right.
they? Yes.
Yeah, they had the black and orange ball up there a couple months ago. But we've had a lot of activities this summer. We had a couple of cemetery tours over at the Bethel Cemetery. And so we're wrapping things up this week.
Do you look forward to maybe having a little more activities? You know, we're talking about the schoolhouse as an arts center now, because
Right.
there are more number of arts groups.
Right,
in
well,
it, so-
we've got a lot of art activity here now, and we want people to know that it's here and try to develop more activity here that people can participate in.
Yes. Well, I know there's the two, South Arts Group and the
Schoolhouse
Arts
Arts.
Group hold classes
Right.
in the various media, so there are.
Well, not only here, but they hold them all over the community.
That's right. Yes. I know in the South Arts, they're
Yeah.
even down into Peters Township.
Right, they do them in all the school districts in the surrounding, all over the South Hills.
So we're more than just artists having fun in the building. We're out there
Right.
doing our job as nonprofits, teaching.
Trying to
and
bring a little
educating.
culture to the community.
Yes, yes, that's great. That's great. What about just something a little about the building? You have quite a number of. You know how many rooms are in this building?
Not offhand, I don't. We have about 6 upstairs, and we have 4 rooms on this level. We've got a basement that has another probably 5 or 6 rooms down there at least.
So there's a lot of usable space in this.
There's a
building.
lot of usable space, but you need a lot of money to do something with it.
Yeah, and that was my point. You know, the building is in very sound condition.
Oh yeah, it's a
as it
solid,
is. It
solid
just needs,
construction, but at
needs
least it
fixed
looks
up to be,
a little tender, loving care.
yeah, to dress it up a little more. The front entrance is terrible. We've got to get that fixed.
Well, there's a lot that needs to be done to make it look better.
And we also, you know, heating this place is a nightmare because it's not insulated. So there's a lot of costs in trying to maintain heating and cooling of this building. You know, so
Right.
there are, you know, there's a lot of needs in this the arts community, but in this particular building, we could use some help from the community.
That's
To
right.
help fix it up and make it a showplace, if you will. So I hope the community would participate in working with the Historical Society.
Just
with
come
the
and
arts
see what's
groups.
here.
Hello again, this is Ray, and I'm talking to Bob Baxendale with the Heritage Box in the Schoolhouse Arts Organization. And Bob has been with this group since forever, I
1978.
guess, huh?
78.
Right? 78?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to tell us a little bit about his organization and give you some idea what goes on and something about the schoolhouse when they moved in. It's very interesting. Bob, you got it.
In 1974, the organization came into the building. And this building was just totally packed with anything that the school district wanted to dump into the building. So we had to clean the building out. Everything had to be removed. It took a couple years to have this all taken care of, but the Heritage Box opened up in 1976 as the art group.
Okay.
And currently, as to date, we have approximately about 35 members.
I see.
Now, each member volunteers to work in the shop. Okay, they work there's 2 shifts a day from 10 to 1 and 1 to 4. And each
What are your days?
our operation days are
Operation days.
Tuesday through Saturday,
Okay.
10 to 4.
Okay.
Okay, and the girls and the guys that belong to the organization, they work so many days a month, and this helps with the running the place
all
and keeping it.
volunteer.
They're all volunteers. It's a
Good.
completely non-profit volunteer organization, and we're always open for new members. We would appreciate
and
more
then-
new members because, you know, we're not younger anymore. We're
right.
getting older.
Well, you hit on a good point because I know the organization I'm in, South Arts, it's the same thing. We have more senior citizens than
That's
there are
right.
young people
That's exactly
getting into
right.
the groups. And we'd like to know who's going to carry this on.
And we'd like to carry it on because we've been here. I mean,
We've got quite a history.
Our group actually come to it. We saved the building.
Yeah.
And turned it into what you have. And fortunately now, with the Historical Society taking it over and opening up to other artists that come into the building, and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
we have an accomplishment here that we could be the art center in the South Hills.
Well,
And
that's the
this would
purpose
be-
of our
this
open
is
house.
This is what we would like to see. This is the art center in the South Hills.
Mm-hmm.
We would appreciate all the support that the community could give us. We really would. And every organization in here, I know, would really appreciate their support.
Absolutely.
People stop in and I ask them, I say, have you been here? And they say, no. But we've been here since 1976.
I've
open.
heard it said that people drive by the schoolhouse and they said that we didn't think it was open because it's in such bad repair.
Well, you know,
Not knowing that there's quite a number of organizations in
yeah, but it takes money to fix everything up, and
Absolutely.
we can't get this organization or all the organizations in here working until we can do that.
Yeah.
But it would be appreciated very much if the people would stop in, check us out, help us out, which
Sure.
we definitely need.
Well, I'm looking around at all the gift ideas in the gift shop here, and it's amazing your selection in the various media, and people have done some beautiful work. So it's
Yes,
a
they
wonderful
have.
place to come and get gifts for Christmas, birthdays,
Anytime.
whatever purpose you want.
Anytime,
Because
and we have a Steeler corner over here too.
a Steeler corner.
All kind of Steeler.
Really?
Yeah, we have.
Well, I
all
see
kind-
you have actually 3 rooms full of.
Well, this room back here is called the collectibles. Everything we have is in a collectible stage.
Okay, I
That's what's
see.
back here.
All right.
There's even a gas truck back here.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
There's all kind of stuff. It's just you have to come in, you have to browse, and you have to see.
Do you have a contact number, phone number, or website?
You can call us at 412-835-9898,
Okay.
and
we
we have an answering machine. An answering machine, and somebody will get back to you.
All right. Good.
We'd appreciate it.
Okay, Bob, I think we can wrap it up. You've given us a pretty good idea of what goes on in the Heritage Box and
Thank you, Ray.
the Schoolhouse Arts.
Thank you.
Hi, Ray Black again, and I'm here with Margot Bearclaw. And Margot is a charter member of the South Arts. And Margot, could you tell us a little bit about South Arts? When did it start? How many members we have, et cetera, and what kind of media you use?
All right. South Arts actually started back in 1984, and we've been at various locations since then, but we continuously have had classes that we've offered for children in different places in the South Hills. And we have usually used community centers and schools and so forth, so we could have classes for children.
So we have quite a number of classes that, are they well attended?
Yes, we think they're very well attended, and we also offer classes for adults. Originally, we had a space that had a classroom that could be used for adults or children, and now the space that we are in, the Schoolhouse Arts Center, we only have adult classes, but we do offer classes in the spring and in the fall, and we think we have wonderful teachers, and we offer a nice variety of classes. We've been around for long enough that we've exhibited in various places, and our members will show their work, sometimes at the Galleria, sometimes in libraries.
Excuse me, Margot.
Yeah.
Back to the subject of teachers. You have teachers not only from our organization, but you have very well-known teachers, people,
Yes.
artists come in from the community for
Yes.
instruction too, don't you?
We do. We sometimes have workshops where we get special teachers to come in and offer a one-day event, or we have sometimes, most of our classes last 5 or 6 weeks.
I see.
And people can begin with beginning drawing and work their way up through more advanced classes.
And there are fees for these classes. This is
Oh,
what
yes.
helps us as a nonprofit to exist and to go on out and do more work for the community.
Well, this is true. Of course, we have to charge, but our aim really is to break even and have enough and have enough, you know, that we can pay the rent. So today we are showing some of our artists at work, and we have them here in the gallery.
Right over here we have this young lady who is...
We have Lynn, who is painting a bag right now. We've got bags on display here that all of our artists painted. But
Bag? What kind of bags?
They're bags for bottles or bags for gifts.
A wine bag type of thing?
Wine bags,
okay.
right. And this is Lynn Angelelli, and she's doing that, but she's also going to demonstrate today and show the kind of watercolors that she does.
Now Lynn works only in watercolors, is that right?
Lynn works mostly in watercolors.
Okay.
Yes, she also does silk, and she has taught classes in silk painting.
What other mediums do people work in here?
Well, the walls always have examples of oil paintings, photography, watercolor, mixed media, acrylics, and we have one member who works in three-dimensional paper. And
George Nickel and his shadow boxes.
And he also is a wood carver, and has won awards in international exhibits for his birds. So we have a great
Ken Weger,
variety.
who works in all mediums.
Very true. And
Carving, sculpting, the whole business.
yes. And of course, we have John Del Monte, who is our president, who is known locally as a fine artist and has been painting for many years.
He's also known in Italy because he spends a lot of time there, doesn't he?
Yes, he's got a school in Italy that people go to every summer.
I understand he's been going there 42 years, 3 months every summer.
This sounds wonderful. I wish I could go.
Well, we'll be looking at John's studio in a few minutes here.
Good.
Now, the hours of operation and days?
We are here from Wednesday through Saturday, from 12 to 4 every day. Our classes aren't necessarily at that time, but we'll be getting brochures put together. You can always pick one up in the library in Bethel, and we look forward to having lots of people give us a try.
How can people contact South Arts?
Well, we have a website, for one thing, and we have a telephone that you can leave messages on. A lot of people just call me because my name and number happen to be on all the brochures.
So you are South Arts in a way.
No, not really. I'm just in charge of the classes.
You're around here so much, I come to think of you that way. Well, thank you, Margot, and appreciate your comments. And we're going to move on over and look at John Del Monte's studio.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ray Black again. I'm here with John Del Monte in his studio. He shares the studio with Chuck Paturki, and they're both here. We'll be talking with them. But John is a pretty well-known artist in his own right. John has been at it for 60 years, I understand. You can tell by looking at him he's been around a little while. But he looks like Santa Claus, too, I thought. I wanted to put a hat on him today, but he didn't agree to that. But John is an amazing artist. He works in all kinds of in media, sculpting, painting, oils, water, chalk,
Pencil
charcoal,
too.
pastels. So, John,
Graphite.
have you really
Yes.
been doing this for 60 years?
Well, let's see. I got out of the high school and I didn't have any studies in high school. Then I went off to the Navy for 3 years. I got out in 43. I got out in 46. Then I decided I would go off to school and become an artist. 46. I never had.
What made you think about being an artist? I mean, everybody else is looking for a job.
Well, I was not a pusher in my own right, and my father, though, was very much a wonderful dad who would back me in almost anything. So he backed me, and I went
So
off
you
to
had
school.
good support from home.
Oh, good support. I have no problem there, no problem at all. But I was thirsty for it. I lost 3 years of my life with it, in a sense, in the Navy, building character, you might say. But it was necessary that I get information on it, so I was.
Let me ask you a question. What makes someone so thirsty for something that everything else is unimportant, essentially?
It's a commitment, I think you have. It's such a great love for something, and you want to know it all. And so you're always searching. The curiosity then, drives you, and so you're also asking for questions. You're always looking at people. You're looking at good books. You're looking at great artists of the past. And the two artists that I looked at were Da Vinci and a fellow by the name of Michelangelo. You might not know him.
I've heard the fellow, yes.
Yeah. But
Well, John, why did it take so long for you to make a decision? Now, I think of people who are working the caliber of work and art that you do, normally are child prodigies. They, from the time they're in grade school, they almost know what they have to do the rest of their life. That you didn't. That didn't
I was
happen to you?
working. I was always working. When I was 9 years old, I started to work. I worked at a fruit produce market, and I was in competition with my brother who worked there also. We were stacking wonderful fruit, and we were competition with one another who could stack the best fruit. We were still always concerned about the aesthetics of what you were doing, you know. We know there were oranges, there were apples and pears and peaches and so forth. But you're always designing something. You're always making an effort. Then I went off, and at 15, I became a barber.
At
It's only
15?
15. So I was a young barber and cutting hair, but I didn't like the idea of looking down the ears of so many people. And I said, something's got to change. Something's got to give.
Maybe that was the turning point then.
Well, the fact that I didn't have acrylic or oil paint or even pastel when I was young, I didn't have art in school. That was a no-no, you know. And even today, they're cut back. When they cut back on the arts, which is a big boo-boo on the part of anybody who is an educator and anybody who's into politics. That you don't cut back. That's a marvelous way. You can get a child sitting there for 2 hours and just drawing. But that child is drawing and concentrating for 2 hours. We don't know how they're thinking, but they're seeing the world differently.
Could you say that an artist thinks in the abstract? He's always thinking outside the box, if you will, being imaginative, creative. You'd think if that's the case, then that would benefit anything else he does in life.
It's true, but, you know, consider this. The mass of people are interested in seeing things that look like photographs. We were always concentrating on the photograph. Photograph came out, and when you want to see a head study, you wanted to see it looking like the person. The abstract, the Picasso thing would not be accepted, that sort of thing. But you've got to go down to the structure of the figure thing, you know, whatever, it might be a pear, it might be a human being. You got to know that structure. Once you know that structure, then you invent. You know. And Michelangelo was a great inventor. Raphael was a great inventor, you know, of the form. They did beautiful things. They were not slaves to what they see, what their eyes can see, but they were not slaves. They were inventors. They were creative people.
And that was my point, is they're thinking outside the box, being
Always.
imaginative, and drawing on those energies to let's say, build themselves into what they want to be. And that seems like what you've done. Yeah.
Well,
you and I have talked so much.
Oh, yes.
You tell me so many stories that just show me what kind of man you are, because you had such a passion for what you wanted to do.
If you don't have a passion, you don't have the commitment, it's almost best to take another path in life.
Yeah, and passion ultimately shows up in the final work that you've done.
Yes.
And we can see with the works around us.
Yes.
Okay, but I would let's talk to Chuck a little bit. Appreciate you giving us your little bit of time. And I'd like to have people come in and see your works. Talk to John Del Monte. His studio is open from time to time, and he'd love to talk with you. Okay, this is Chuck Pacherki. He is in the studio with Sean, and both of them work in here. Frankly, I don't know how, because there's so much material in here, all artwork and frames, and it's a very interesting studio to come into. Chuck, you've been with John how long now, working with him?
John was my art teacher at the Ivy School of Art. I guess it was 40-some years ago, 1966, 65, and then 68, 69. But I really got involved with John in 2000 when I went to Lucca, Italy with him for the first time. I don't know if people know this, but John, for 43 years, has been taking students to Lucca, Italy, and teaching them the Italian way of drawing and painting. He goes every summer, usually from July till September. It's a great opportunity to visit Italy and study with John. I highly recommend it to anybody that, whether you have a professional background or just want to go and enjoy the alt art culture of Italy, John's the one to go with. When this space became available 3 years ago, John agreed to go in on it with me, and we've been here. I retired. I don't play golf, and I don't sit in a bar and drink, and this is how I entertain myself. The art market, unfortunately, is on hard times with everything else in this recession, so sales are very poor, but we keep doing our own thing, and hopefully one day things will pick up.
Well, you could say you're building inventory right now.
Every artist has too much inventory, I think, but if you ask our wives, we have way too much inventory. But hopefully it'll get passed on to our children. If not, you can buy our stuff at Goodwill someday.
And what medium do you work in mostly, Chuck?
Like John, I like it all. I like oils first of all, then pastel, watercolor, mixed media, charcoal. I think as an artist you have to try it all. I don't know how somebody can be a watercolor artist and never try oils, or an oil painter that never tried watercolor. So I think you're not going to be good in all of them. Some people are, like John and a few other people I know, but it's a challenge. Everything in art is a challenge, and you should keep challenging yourself.
Well, that's good. Your subject matter that you prefer to paint?
I don't have a particular subject. Well, I do. I was born on a dairy farm, and so I do like the country. I like landscapes. I like barn pictures. I like animals. I also like working with the human figure. That was one of the first classes that John introduced us to at the Ivy School of Art, was figure drawing and painting. And I like it, and we still do it here in the schoolhouse on Wednesday nights.
Yes, there's a studio upstairs. John Pacharczyk has nude drawing, nude photography.
You can come on Wednesday nights and pay $10 and draw and paint for 2 hours. No instruction, no level of expertise. You can meet some great artists and have a good time.
Well, that's
it's the only one in the South Hills that you can do this at, so people should take advantage of it. Artists should take advantage of it.
I would like to have talked with John. Also, Ken Wagle has a studio upstairs, and Ken has some amazing work up there, doesn't he? And again, he works in all kinds of media, as well as doing scrimshaw and carving and what have you.
Yeah, Ken is very talented. I would advise anybody to get a chance to come to the schoolhouse and visit his studio and check his work out. Yep.
Well, good. I think this is probably going to be the last of the interview that we have within the schoolhouse. But you can see we've talked to a lot of people, and you've seen what goes on in the building. And here to say that if you love art, come on in and take a look and talk to the people that are here and partake and participate along with us. Thank you. Hi again, this is Ray Black, and you've just finished a tour of the schoolhouse, the Art Center, with the galleries, the gift box, gift shop, and the studios for the artists. And you can see that it's very active. There's a lot of things going on within the schoolhouse, and the people here are very enthusiastic about what they're doing. The hours of this building are somewhat scattered. The gift box, Heritage Box, is open from 10 to 4, Tuesday through Saturday, and the South Arts Gallery is open Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 4. And we invite you to come out, take a look at what's going on. Thank you very much.